I don't believe in story spoilers.
Who'd have thought Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father?
Thank you, Mr. Blow the Picture for me.
I truly believe that if a story is doing its job, it doesn't matter if the audience knows how it all ends up ahead of time.
Why didn't you just call me? Say my name.
Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden.
They can't help but want to see the story through no matter what. After all, it's not like you magically forget how your favorite book, movie, or TV show ends the moment you sit down to re-experience it, right? But I do believe in gameplay spoilers. There are games whose entire experience can be summed up as fuck around and find out. I'm talking games like Outer Wilds, The Witness, Tunic, Return of the Obra Dinn, Her Story, all technically puzzle games but could more accurately be described as knowledge-based games. The real keys to progress in these games aren't so much solving the puzzles as they are learning the secret gameplay mechanics that are available straight from the off, sometimes staring the player right in the face. They just don't know how to see it yet. Hence the fuck around until the mind-blowing, third eye opening find out. The journey of discovery through gameplay is what drives these experiences, and that struggle towards enlightenment may also express the game's themes. Spoil that and, well, you've taken something magical away from the player. That's where this video gets tricky, because I want to talk about Void Stranger, a game you probably haven't even heard of yet considering it has less than 1,000 ratings on Steam and doesn't even have a Metacritic score at the time I'm writing this, a game that I've been obsessed with for the last several weeks, and a game I guarantee will blow up a year or two from now when a YouTube channel much, much larger than my own discovers it and makes a video much, much better than this one. No, that can't be true. I can do it. I can make this video good enough. I want to tell you about how wonderful and weird and funny and unsettling Void Stranger is, but the problem is it's a knowledge-based game, one where the whole point is to fuck around and find out. One I don't want to spoil for you, but in order to convince you why you absolutely should play this dreadfully underrepresented game, I'm going to walk you through my first successful playthrough, trying to keep gameplay spoilers to an absolute minimum. Story spoilers are fair game since I don't believe in them anyway, though believe me when I say your first run barely scratches the surface of what lies beneath this deceptively simple yet intricately masochistic puzzle box of a game. All that said, if you want to go in completely blind,
Now's the fucking time!
to stop the video and go play it for yourself. Otherwise,
Yay!
Developed by System Erasure, who are just two Finnish guys who like to make video games, and released in September of 2023, Void Stranger first came to my attention via the PC Gamer article by Dominic Terrason, sorry if I butchered that, titled, "A seemingly innocent puzzle game is hiding what might be the most subversive, fourth-wall-breaking adventure since Undertale." Which, one, that's a really long headline, maybe clean it up a bit, and two, you don't pass hyperbole like that without doing a double take. After reading the review, I thought, sure, why not? What did I have to lose?
How about my every waking moment dedicated to obsessing over this labyrinthian, Lovecraftian, enigmatic kick to the teeth disguised as a Game Boy game?
Allow me to explain. In Void Stranger, you play as Gray, a lone woman who stands at the precipice of an impossibility, and it's here, during the opening cutscene, that the game gives you its one and only achievement. Congratulations! You've 100%ed the game! Gray then dives into the pit, hits the floor below, and loses 3 points of HP. The next room over contains an unsettling statue and an ornate chest that holds your movement, unconstrained just a moment ago, is now locked to a grid, effectively trapping Gray in a Sokoban game, aka sliding box puzzles. Press any direction to move Gray one space and face in that direction. The only way out of the room is across an impassable one-column chasm. Thankfully, the rod Gray acquired is capable of hoovering up a single tile at a time and spitting it back out into an empty space. The goal for all floors to follow becomes clear as crystal. Get to the stairs. Gray will also punch anything that blocks her path, such as rocks, statues, walls, anything! Anything! And that's pretty much the full extent of the game mechanics. Pick up, place, punch. Or so it first seems. However, maneuvering Gray to not only pick up tiles, but also face the correct direction to place them in can be wickedly difficult at times and embarrassingly easy to mess up. Add to that, enemies who do 999 damage levels very quickly become an intricate dance where a single misstep means death. First position, from the top, no mistakes this time. Void Stranger is hard, but it's also fair. And as much as it may not seem like it, the game wants you to succeed. Like, if the space you move into is empty, a cute little animation of Gray Luigi-legging it over thin air slowly plays out, graciously allowing the player a second to take the move back before they fall to their death. Enemies also only move when Gray does, or when she punches something in predictable, dependable patterns. Once you learn an enemy's behavior, they're never going to surprise you, meaning a player can take as long as they need to consider their next move, or to allow the sense of failure to really settle in. Death comes easy and often in Void Stranger, but the game's always there to coach you in the moment. If you're paying attention, you'll know what you did wrong and how you might do better next time. Next time, of course, being after you make it all the way back down from the surface again, or immediately upon death, should you have a golden locust handy. Golden locusts act as one-ups and are found in chests throughout the void, though sometimes reaching a chest can potentially cost more locusts than it's worth. And that's if a chest contains anything at all, which, yeah, that's a thing that can happen. There's also tiles marked with an X that if you hoover up gives you a memory crystal, so long as you reach the stairs without dying, used to unlock childhood pictures of someone. However, it's not too long before you reach a floor that's quiet, serene, feels safe. It's a save room, like one you'd find in any number of survival horror games, which asks if you'd like to rest, and then the game shuts itself off without any warning. It can be pretty jarring the first time this happens, but I came to appreciate the game force quitting itself after slow cooking my brain jelly through the last set of puzzles. It was a welcome opportunity to get up, stretch my legs, and give my mind a break. In theory. Because in reality, once I saved at a tree and the game closed, I couldn't wait to boot Void Stranger back up because... You see, your reward for making it to the tree is a flashback detailing Gray's journey that led her to the Void. A fairly standard story, but it's the way these flashbacks are told that kept me coming back for more. The first one opens on Gray in a dress that reveals she's got chronic lower back pain in her future, who enters a castle in disarray, guards strewn about the floor who whisper of the demon princess, lying in wait just beyond the next door. Void Stranger then becomes a Dragon Quest clone, as Gray fights the demon princess by trading insults like decadent donkey and booby monster. After the fight, it's revealed Gray's adversary is Lily, the king's spoiled brat of a daughter whose reputation is only preceded by her smell since she's not in the habit of taking baths. It was here I knew I was hooked. A tightly designed puzzle game that isn't afraid to mess with the player, completely changing genres at will, and has a silly sense of humor. I'm just saying, if Inscription took the game world by storm, as it rightfully should have, the game is great, then in a moral universe, Void Stranger's release would have caused a torrential downpour at the very least. It's honestly a shame that this game didn't get the attention it deserved upon release, although I'm giving it attention. And if enough people watch this... It's here that Gray wakes up beneath the tree and resumes her descent further down the void. Each new section bookmarked by a mysterious mural, an increasingly creepy statue, a hellish procession of puzzles, and finally a sight for sore eyes tree to rest at. Each cutscene always contains little gameplay or genre twists, like when I was suddenly put on trial by a trio of demons, including this dead ringer for Franziska von Karma, for how many times I jiggled the snake lady's boobs. 11 times? Why did I do that? As you journey lower and lower, as the puzzles grow in complexity, as new enemy types and tile sets are introduced, as your locust stash steadily dwindles down to nothing, the sheer weight of each and every finished floor becomes a burden on your psyche. Failure now means having to go through all of this, every single floor again. You can't possibly remember the solution to all these puzzles. You're going to forget. You're going to remake the same mistakes. You're going to fail. And eventually, it happens. I lose my last locust. I fall. Game over. A cute little demon tells me that it doesn't have to end here, that I can endlessly walk these halls if I so desire. All I have to do is eat food from this realm.
No! Rule number 1 of any underworld excursion, you do not eat the pomegranate!
I tell the puffball demon thanks, but no thanks. It tells me it's disappointed, and the game shuts itself off. I reboot Void Stranger. Gray is on the surface. She dives into the void. I am back on level 1. I have to start from the beginning. To be honest, I'm not sure how many times I would have been able to take restarting from scratch, having to go through every single floor every single time. And I can understand if this is where a lot of people would turn Void Stranger off for good. But remember, Void Stranger wants you to succeed. It will give you the tools to do so if you can find them. I won't reveal how I got here because that's too big a spoiler. I'd rather you figure out on your own. But each section of the void between trees contains a hidden chest that houses an item powerful enough to change your entire approach to puzzles, like a pair of insect wings that allows Gray to fly over one empty tile, or a sword that
Absolutely bodies these fuckers.
or this cube that, you know what, I'll let you discover that one on your own. These items practically break the game, allowing a player to skip puzzles entirely and beeline straight for the stairs, which feels so satisfying, like you figured out how to get one over on the game. That is, until later puzzles introduce gaps too wide to fly across, and enemies that have to stay alive to press buttons, and statues that just fuck these statues! And slowly, surely, Void Stranger becomes difficult again. I hit a wall. I die over and over and over. My supply of locusts once more dwindles down to nothing until... I've come too far to turn back now. I have to see it through. I have to reach the bottom. And so... I eat the fruit. Taking the Puffball Demon's Faustian bargain does two things. First, it makes Gray voided, which means she essentially has unlimited lives and can experiment towards puzzle solutions without fear of a game over. Gold and locusts are no longer consumed upon death, though they can still be collected from chests, but are kind of useless now, right?
Right?
Second, the tiles that hold memory crystals disappear, meaning you can no longer unlock more memories like Lily in a soccer uniform? What the fuck is going on? Before we go any further, I want to talk about a writing concept called Intertextuality, or the ongoing interaction between stories. This intertextual dialogue deepens and God damn it, no. This section isn't working. Just cut it. I gotta cut it. I gotta make it punchier. Come on, Aaron, you can do this. Now voided, I was able to brute force my way through the remainder of the game, resting on trees, learning the rest of Gray's backstory. Gray is Lily's lady-in-waiting, who's been tasked by the king to make Lily amenable to marriage, as she's snubbed or drubbed every suitor that's come a-calling. That is until she's courted by Johann, the Knight of Heaven, who Lily falls for immediately. But when he's later revealed to look like this... well, I've read enough Berserk, or watched enough Super Eye Patch Wolf videos about Berserk anyway, to know where this story is headed, and... yeah. As Gray's backstory came to a close, as I thought my journey to the bottom of the void neared its end, Void Stranger had yet another surprise in store. Because the next genre Void Stranger touches on is music video.
There's a safety locker inside of me, out of your reach, and I hold the key.
A haunting hauntingly melancholic song begins to play, complete with lyrics at the bottom of the screen. Then, as the song raises in intensity, the game jump cuts from level to level. The puzzles gradually become impossible to solve. Still, the song goes on, sliding further and further into dissonance. The puzzles get meaner, the situation more dire, surrounded by enemies, stranded on tiles with nowhere to go, suspended over nothing, drowning in a mire of darkness and depression. There is no way to move forward, no way to win, no escape. It's sad. I'm reminded of why I play games in the first place, not just for fun, but for moments like this, moments of synergy with the player character, moments that use gameplay to make me feel something real, even if that feeling is utter hopelessness. Shortly thereafter, Void Stranger resets your progress, replays the opening cutscene, and drops you back down on the top floor. My first run, ending back where it started, and I knew if I wanted to see this thing through, I'd have to get it all the way back down without eating the apple. I wanted to give up. Yet Void Stranger wants you to succeed. My progress had been reset, yes, but I'd already carried the knowledge of how to beat most of the puzzles in my head. On top of the fact, I still had game-breaking items in my possession. Gaps easy to clear, chests child's play to reach for those sweet, crunchy locusts. Enemies fell before my blade and the levels practically flew by. I felt like I was on a power trip. The void no longer a sinister unknown, but a puzzle I had broken. Deeper and deeper I dove until finally I had made it. I had reached the bottom with my soul intact. I had mastered the void and— What? What's a memory crystal doing down there? Wait. What? Hello? Anybody? What the fuck? Ah! It's here where I'll end the video. I know I talked about a lot, but if you think I've spoiled too much for you, trust me, there is so much more to a first run I haven't even hinted at, and so much more besides that I've yet to even discover for myself, really. It's difficult, sure, but it's also rewarding and funny, cathartic, moving, mondo horny, and at times deeply unsettling. Why is this so suggestive? Void Stranger is just waiting to be discovered, as are System Erasure, a couple of Finnish guys who like to make video games that deserve a hell of a lot more exposure. I hope one day that the right YouTube video hits the zeitgeist and catapults them into the public consciousness. I'd like to hope it's this video that I'm that YouTuber, that someone will notice me. If only I work hard enough, make videos good enough, upload consistently, improve my quality, increase viewer engagement, get my click-through rate, make higher, better thumbnails, more calls to action, Patreon, create more eye-catching another God of War video, speed up my edits, make posts to my socials, get more subscribers than up.